DistroKid now also has a motherfucking app.
The DistroKid app is available for iOS and Android.
You can now get an additional 30% off if you go to distrokid.com/VIP/cult. That's distrokid.com/VIP/cult.
Or you can get it in the App Store.
Fuck. All right, we're rolling.
Rolling. Welcome to episode 45 of the Cult and Culture Podcast. I'm Justin Pearson.
And I'm Luke Henshaw.
This episode features Lloyd Kaufman of Troma Entertainment, the genius behind the Toxic Avenger, part 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a bunch of other wild shit.
My personal favorite, Redneck Zombies.
Redneck Zombies. Man, like Class of Nuke Em High, Return to Class of Nuke Em High, Return to Class of Nuke Em High. All kinds of rad shit. Troma's awesome. They were doing a Comic-Con thing as they do every year, I guess. So we linked up with Lloyd and had him on our podcast. It was pretty wild hanging out with that guy.
Yeah.
Go on.
Before we move on, is just being at the Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I realize how fucking it sucks now. And no, but like the 90s, it was just all horror movies. VHS tapes, comic books, T-shirts, posters. And now it's all like Marvel bullshit. But every year, it was like just the thrill to see what new shit Troma had.
Yeah.
It was like, that was like the destination booth to find and go see what they have. So I was like, 25 shit, I've been going since I was like 14, so
Yeah.
I can't do the math on that. But so many years later, he's on our podcast.
Yeah.
So that was fucking rad.
Well, it's crazy because he also had me speak at his panel for Troma, which with like Chuck Tingle and a weird mix of other creative people. I don't know if I fit in that category, but I was grateful to be part of it. But the topic of that was even like addressing how like Comic-Con-esque stuff has now become corporate and they don't take risks, and things like Troma that's pretty odd and bizarre and unique doesn't happen often enough in the world. So it was cool to be part of that, but also to talk about that because we've spent many years sneaking into the Comic-Con.
Yeah, until they put those damn chips in.
Yeah, in their brain.
Yep.
This podcast is pretty loaded. So first of all, we went and recorded this the actual conversation portion at Two Legs Bad Studio. Our friend Rodrigo hooked us up again. We went down there. It was close to Comic-Con physically, so it worked out very well for Lloyd. And also our mutual comrade Will Akers was there. That dude's awesome, so shout out to Will. And we got to present Lloyd with the 50th year or 50th birthday of Troma cake from our friends at Paleo Treats, which is right down the street. They're awesome, and Curtis Hartwell, a designer that they're linked up with, created this like mutant hand. You'll see it in the podcast, but we presented this amazing cake.
Yeah.
It tasted awesome.
Yeah.
It looked awesome. And it was just cool to celebrate the 50th for
I will
Troma.
say that cake, a couple people were like, "Oh, I just want a little piece," and they took a bite and they're like, "Nope, bring it." Like, that cake was awesome.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for that.
Oh, you mean like at the podcast, everyone's like, "Oh, let's have a bite," and then they're like, and then they wanted the whole piece.
Yeah.
It is amazing. So if you're in San Diego and you can stop by Paleo Treats, they have amazing food. The people that own it are awesome. They're super on the level. They're friends with a bunch of the homies and stuff. So it's cool to just be able to have camaraderie with other businesses and stuff that we respect and appreciate and admire. So shout out to Paleo Treats for sure. So let's just get into this thing. Here we go. See you on the other side.
Like,
Okay, so can you introduce yourself how you would like to be introduced?
Greetings from Tromaville. I'm Lloyd Kaufman, president of
Troma Entertainment and creator of the Toxic Avenger, along with Mr. Michael Hers. Gentlemen, exactly when did you know you were in love?
It's been a few years.
It's been a few years. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It was love at first sight.
Troma movies always have the romantic part.
Troma's done it for sure.
While we're here, 50 years.
Yeah. So okay, let's kick this off and address
Congratulations
the fact that it's 50 years.
Yes.
I would
you
like
say undress what?
address.
Dare
Let's
you.
address it.
I'm a legend. I'll tell you, respect, disrespect.
50 years is
Yes.
a good amount of time. You've done a lot of damage. Thank you very much. We have something that we would like to present to you for the 50th anniversary.
Wow.
If that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
So
Oh, that is great.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful, beautiful cake
yeah.
with 50 and some hands coming out of it.
Yeah.
So our friends at Paleo
That's
Treats
amazing.
created it, and
And where are they from?
Paleo Treats.
Paleo Treats.
yeah,
Yes, I've been there many times.
Okay, it's in San Diego.
Commissioner and I are there.
Yeah, and then
Well, we're not at Bread and Sea, of course.
No, no.
Paleo Treats.
and the hand was done by the artist Curtis Hartwell. So they're all excited to be a part of this Troma and specifically Toxic Avenger thing. So
Well, thank you very much, Curtis and Paleo what?
Paleo Treats. You're gonna have to
Thank
blow
you,
those-
Paleo. No joke. That is really beautiful
Yeah.
and kind of disturbing. And fingernails should have been at least
A little
cleaned
cleaner?
a little. Well, they should have been cleaned at
Yeah.
least. Yeah, that's all.
I got a file.
Yeah, I was in prison too.
You want to blow those things out, or you? Or,
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad you added something after blow. Whoa!
All right.
The
So
old,
there's the 50.
The lungs still have it.
Yeah.
50
Full of
years
hot
of being
air.
weird is
Yes?
great.
Yeah.
What's that, Luke?
I said 50 years of weirdness and odd beef flicks is fucking
Failed
awesome.
cinema is what you call it.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to talk about like the start of it, but also how you've created this ability for yourself to survive, because it's a mean world. And also, I mean, you haven't been canceled. You're still able to make films. Like you figured something out. So is there a secret?
Well, Michael Hers, my partner, he's creator of Toxic Avenger with me, and he's the boss at Troma, and he's kept us afloat somehow, in spite of hashtag Shakespeare shitstorm. And he says never looks at the movies we make now. He grew up and stopped directing, but he's seen every movie you can imagine. He's like William Akers.
Except the ones that you guys
family.
make.
Yeah, every once in a while, I remember he discovered, he and his wife mentioned they had caught Terra Firma on HBO, and she said, hey, that was pretty good. She liked it.
That's great.
Who made that? That was good.
What's Lemmy doing there? And Trey Parker and Matt Stoner in Terra Firma, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good movie.
That was pre-South Park, or was it South Park?
It was no, the South Park was going.
Yeah. That's great. That's cool. You've managed to work with a lot of different kinds of, celebrities or artists, I guess you would say. So it's pretty cool. It's nice to see people like Lemmy and also Trey Parker and in your.
Well, Trey Parker, we discovered Trey Parker. He was on nothing till I. No, actually, they came to Troma first with Cannibal the Musical,
Yep.
which was not finished.
A great film.
They
by the way.
needed help. Oh, it's a brilliant
Yeah.
film. It's better than the Broadway show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we told him, we don't have money. We can't give you big advance. Go to the money people. It was hilarious. My wife and I were on the floor watching this rough cut, and we were the first stop on the train, and nobody, all the big time people rejected it, and finally we picked it up.
That's great.
And they've been very nice to us, and the movie's successful. It didn't start off successful, but South Park helps.
Yeah, but I think obviously I think Troma and specifically the Toxic Avenger and probably like, I guess like Class of Nuke 'Em High, things like that really, I don't know. I think a lot of people probably would cite that as a huge influence for artists like, Trey and Matt or whoever.
Oh, Scorsese, of course.
Were you guys friends? You were friends with some of these. You went to college with one of
Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone, yeah.
Met in second grade.
Oh, in second grade?
Yeah. And then he was we were in the same class at Yale briefly. And then we made a movie or two. And then he, just as he became successful, I disengaged. I'm really good at that.
Well, you picked your lane, right? With the...
Well, he was a psycho. He got too much. I'm
Okay.
just a little bougie Jew, I can't get into all those drugs and whatever he was doing.
Not nowadays.
And nasty. I mean, he turned nasty.
All right.
He used to be very, very right wing. He and his father, and my father and I were left wing. But he and his father, and my father were very good friends. But after Oliver came back from, and they were slightly anti-Semitic too. Not my father, but them. Silverstein to Stone, name change. And but when Oliver came back, he was suddenly way left.
Huh.
And did those great movies. I mean, wonderful movies. JFK, and he's one of our greatest directors.
Yeah.
And
I can't tell if you're being serious though about they were right wing, and then he came,
he shifted over. Well, John Kerry too, although I guess he would shift no matter where the winds were. But Oliver moved to the left, but he ended up as kissing Putin's ass doing that documentary about Putin. He's kissing Putin's ass. It's great. But he's one of our great directors.
Yeah, I agree.
I take total credit for that, of course.
Do you think that, well, you're saying like he was on the right and he switched to the left, but do you think people on the left now maybe are going to give you grief about some of the stuff that you have created?
Well, you mentioned cancellations. They tried. It's happened a couple of times, but the fans are vicious. They're willing to attack.
The Karens of the left can be a drag sometimes.
Well, it wasn't that. It was some other stupid thing. Oh, well, these two alleged journalists have spent 2 weeks on a project to expose the guy, Ain't It Cool News guy. I don't know if you remember that, but he may or may not have done something 25 years ago. He's a 400-pound Slav in a wheelchair, but he changed journalism. It's peer-to-peer journalism. He'd get his people up in a booth to see a rotten Disney movie and report on it before he was, and so these two non-identified cis non-males, they wrote up how they put this article out that ruined the guy. And they were bragging, we spent 2 whole weeks on this. and the guy was a perfectly good guy. Who knows if he did something 25? And what was it? Nothing specific. And so I put something up, these I said, I think in those days you could say women, are the Watergate reporters.
Yeah, I don't know their names, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, you remember. Who? Robert Redford and who? Woodward and Bernstein, yes. So I put that up, and then some douchey, gossip guy got on my case, and, they called me out. And I put some, they answered it, and then I put up the famous House of Un-American Activities, the Joseph McCarthy hearings when Senator McCarthy, fascist, was dressed down by a general in front of Congress, and the speech was something about, have you no decency, sir? Have you no blah, blah, blah? So I put that little clip up to suggest that our friend, what was his name? Ain't It Cool News? Harry Knowles, that he's hardly been accused of something. It was supposed to be innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
And then I put up that famous video, and then there was a cascade of hostility, and I got into trouble.
But what kind of trouble? Nothing, obviously. Look at you. You're doing great.
No, just a lot of cancellations they call it, but the fans shut it down pretty fast. Also, it was something about my hating women or some. Yeah, it was something where they got me for something about women or something. I don't know.
Why do you hate women?
I'm married. Come on. No, that is not true. I've just married 50 years, for 50 years.
Wow, as long as Troma.
And
we have another cake for you.
My wife was on the set when you and Hefner had that terrible time.
Well, yeah, we can
terrible
dive into that if you want. So
Oh yeah, I felt terrible for years.
we didn't even care.
For many men. No, I did. That's the thing. It was awful because I was a fan, or I am a fan.
Well, I think maybe your standards might be slightly higher than the Locust, but we had
Come on, every 13 years, your standards are sky high.
we flew back from I think Japan or maybe Europe. I could be wrong, but we got back that morning, and then a mutual friend, Scott Byben, who was part of was in the film, called and said, "Do you want to be in one of Lloyd's films? He's doing a new Toxic Avenger." And we were like, "Yeah, when?" He's like, "Right now." And I'm like, "Oh wait, we literally just flew like 16 hours." But
Oh no!
and we flew into LA, drove to San Diego, got
I
the
feel
call.
worse.
No, it was great. So we got in the car, we got in the van, and we drove back to LA, blasting Guns N' Roses the whole way just to get like into the vibe. And we got to, so you were saying it was filmed. Okay, when someone tells you want to be in the next Toxic Avenger, and they're filming it at the Playboy Mansion, that's like
That was the dumbest thing we ever did. I shouldn't have done that. Thank you. Sorry about that.
So yeah, we wanted to play at the Playboy Mansion as part of your film.
It would have been great.
But we got there and it was. I'm surprised they let us in for one, but it was insane. So it was insane. They were like, you instructed us to act. I'm not gonna go into detail about how our instruction was, but we were immediately just thrown into a scene. I don't know what it was, and then a couple other scenes, and then we had to film performing, and it was when Gabe was on guitar, and he was too short, so they had to put a crate for him to stand on. And then we started playing, and immediately they were like, "You got to shut it down. It's too loud," because you guys didn't secure a sound permit or a noise permit. Do you remember that?
No.
So there was no sound permit, and apparently the neighbor called the cops on us being too loud, and so that's why we never were able to perform.
That is it. I thought it was because Hefner wanted a cameo suddenly, and we lost light.
Nope.
Oh, that's the true story then. So Troma incompetence wants a cameo.
No, but the person that called the
50 years of
cops was Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons called the cops. Well,
Yeah. He lived across the street.
Well, he got his. He just died. Troma curse. The Locust.
He didn't die.
Locust. Gene Simmons died.
No, he didn't.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other guy who jumps around.
Yeah, Richard.
Richard
Simmons. Oh
Simmons.
no,
Gene Simmons.
Yeah,
He complained. He's a
from
good
Kiss,
guy.
the guy that wants to rock and roll all
Shannon
night.
Tweed starred in one of our movies. His significant other,
Sharon. What?
Sharon.
No, that's Sharon Osbourne.
Sharon Tweed. Isn't that his
I think
yeah,
isn't that his
she's
wife?
lovely.
Yeah.
She and Julie Strain was
Well,
a
they called the
Western.
cops on the Locust,
Oh,
which was fine.
What film was she in?
Yeah, what was it? It was a Western. Rowdy Girls, yes.
Gene Simmons' wife.
Yes. Yeah, she was a
Was
big
this
star.
after?
What's her name again? Shannon Tweed. Yeah, Shannon Tweed.
Huh.
What did I say? Stephen Tweed. Oh,
Oliver Stone.
no, they were all great, and the movie's very, very good. It just
What movie was it?
it was called what was it again? The Rowdy Girls, and it was very, very good. Yeah, and it had songs, and
No
and,
Locust songs.
R-rated the whole.
Yeah.
But didn't really find an audience.
Yeah.
But it's very good. It's on Troma Now. We have a streaming service, Justin and Luke, called Troma Now. 50 years of our movies plus there's a total of over 1,000 movies on Troma Now. There's
So
a
like
free
stuff
app.
that you've produced, like stuff you produced or
Well,
co-released.
no,
or-
the movies, all of our movies are there, but a lot of independent movies that we had nothing to do with, like RoboCop and that whole series, and and it's a very good. It's free the first month too. You can go through the whole thing with 1,000 movies.
Check it out.
And then the second you only pay $4.99. Troma Now. Because honestly I can't find anything on Netflix.
Yeah. So it's all there, all the good shit.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's on Troma Now. You
right.
bet.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
all the talk, everything we've ever done, except for hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, which will have an exclusive premiere simultaneously on 4K and Troma Now.
All right.
It's the future, but now.
But now.
Troma Now. And it's profitable, oddly enough. Not a lot, but it's probably. Thank you. Toxic Avenger just helped me out on the vodka. I mean the water. What were you saying about?
I don't know. We were talking about Toxie 4.
That's the best one.
Yeah. Someone from Bauhaus was there too. You know the band Bauhaus?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't Peter Murphy. It was one of the other guys. But I was kind of shocked. I think
No kidding.
his girlfriend was in the movie.
Oh, maybe.
So
maybe.
we enjoyed ourselves, even though, and we also peed in the grotto.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Gabe and I peed in the grotto because we figured, when else are we gonna be here? And so
There was a guy in a bookstore who showed up. I had a book tour. I've written some books, and I was on a book tour. And usually, no matter where I am, they say something about. My friend and I were going to kill ourselves because we were being bullied so much, and Troma's War saved us. Or there's quite a number of those people.
Yeah.
And so the kid kept in touch with me, and he wanted to be in Citizen Toxie, and he said he would do anything to be in the movie. So I thought, well, you don't see naked men with penises in too many movies, usually the women. So have them do that.
Yeah,
He
that's
did.
great. That's
and it
so
was in the
cool.
grotto, too.
Oh, that's
It's
so great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
He's a nice kid, too.
You know what's crazy though, because that's like people measure these levels of success, but like that's like the most successful level ever of like to have someone say like you saved their life. Like that's a big fucking deal.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like cool.
Unless he said it to be in your movie.
Well, in the new movie, I kill myself. That's why I look like a bum. I play a bum who kills himself. It's inspired by Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment, and written by Martin Murray. We've spent about 2 years working on it. He wrote it. His mentor is Steve Martin, but the script's not funny.
Is it in production now?
Yeah, we're rehearsing on location in Port Jervis, New York. If anybody wants to be in the film, there's.
You just let anybody show up, huh? To be in
Yeah, sure.
That's great. Yeah, I mean,
How do you think we found Kevin Costner? No, we didn't discover him.
Yeah,
But we do have his 2 first movies.
okay. But when we got the call, like, hey, you want to come and play it and be in this film? I thought it was insane that anybody would just be like, yeah, let them come and play. Like it was not written in or anything, you know. Like
No, but somebody whom I respected
suggested it, and
suggested it.
But you
and,
just gave a shout out right now to be in your next film to whoever's listening to this podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Port Jervis, New York. And the star of Il Compresso might make a guest appearance.
Okay, who would that be?
I don't know, but a very attractive man sitting opposite.
Yeah. He doesn't get it.
I don't get a lot.
I'll
of things.
stand in. I'll be his stunt double.
We distributed Argento's movie Stendhal Syndrome.
Oh,
It
yeah.
stars Asia.
Yeah.
And I interviewed him about it on the front of our DVD. I mean, it came out in the theaters a bit, not much, but it's very good. It's terrific.
So
As is your film. It's great. She's very good.
yeah. It was cool working with her.
It was
for
a
sure.
Cannes, right?
It was, yeah.
That's where we saw it.
So and also like, you know, Charlotte Gainsbourg's awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yes.
Have you been to Cannes with anything?
We stopped going. In fact, we have a documentary about our last year there where we were kicked out for good.
Congratulations. Yeah. Kicked out for good.
Well, in our opinion, yeah. They win. But we made a nice documentary that's almost finished called Occupy Can. And you see, we open the curtain on the Troma, what happened to Troma at Can.
I would love to know what happened.
Since 1971, we had been going.
Yeah. Just going, but was anything ever part of the...
Oh no! Good God, no! Yeah. But we were doing okay, selling movies there. We'd sell our movies in the Marché du Film. And there was a festival when I started going in 1971. I slept on the beach. It was great, and the cops, everybody thought it was fun. But it became more of a tool of the very small cabal that runs the cartel that runs the entertainment industry worldwide. Government, bureaucratic, and corporate.
Yeah, I mean, everything.
And labor unions, too.
Oh, yeah.
Very hard to... Troma's the last of the last, I think.
But when you would go there, you would sell, like, physical copies?
No, we'd sell rights.
So you would just
1971, there were no physical... Unless you sell 35
Well, VHS, I guess, in 80,
no,
whatever.
that came
Projector reels,
maybe.
Well, they bootleg. They bribe the projectionists, so they do something at Cannes, because our movie Poultry Guys, Night of the Chicken Dead, was on video in China. Was on DVD in China long before we did a video transfer from 35. Only place they could have gotten it was Cannes, in my opinion. And Nice is a hotbed of gangsterism.
Yeah, it's a trip for sure there. So,
did you experience the Cannes Film Festival?
Oh, it was bizarre. Yeah,
it was. Horrible.
I shouldn't have been there, but it was cool. I got to walk on the red carpet and.
No kidding. Oh, for a real compressor.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. It was weird for sure, but it was cool. I guess. No one cared. No one knew who I was.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just experience.
Yeah, to check that out. It was I was out of my league for sure. Also out of my class, but
no way, not you.
That was like there was like Lamborghinis and shit.
Charlotte Gainsborough got nothing.
She's great. I will have to say that Charlotte is fantastic.
No, I met her a few times.
Yeah, she's really awesome.
One of my friends makes movies and had her in one of his films in France.
She also is a great musician. Her albums are awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I played a festival with her and got to, reconnect and stuff.
Her father was no slouch.
Yes.
And her great-great-grandfather, the painter Gainsborough, was amazing.
Yeah.
There's also the Gainsborough of New York. It's called the Bronx. I could keep going.
You sure could.
No, that's awful.
What about the new Toxic Avenger that's coming out? That seems awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
It's great. Terrific. Macon Blair is a wonderful director. Picked the right director.
Yeah.
They had the courage to make a totally different Toxie with lots of callbacks that the fans love. And unfortunately, they haven't been able to. It's different. So, it's not what the distributors want so far.
So it's like in a holding pattern somewhere.
Yeah, it's
the preview online. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing, and I saw it in an audience in Texas. Bill Akers, you saw it in the audience, and they had 5 screenings at Fantastic Fest, which is Alamo's festival, and Kill Dolly Kill also premiered there. But the Toxic movie was crazy. They had to keep scheduling screenings.
But you would think that it's got some big names associated with it.
There's something that beats me. We're only producers and names.
Wow.
But Macon doesn't know much more, and the producers, the big time, the Mimi Parent, who runs the show there, and Alex Garcia, they love the film. They just can't hook up with somebody who can bring it out. They did bring out, what was the name? Horizon, that huge Kevin Costner flop. And there's a Horizon 2 coming up, too.
Yeah. They pushed it back.
Yeah, he knows all about that.
Yeah,
He's
probably going to write it
fan.
off, right?
Yeah, it was so terrible. They had to push it back, the second one back, because they're probably in the editing room.
Well, they can write it off, and maybe like they did with, what is it, Batwoman? I think Warner's wrote that one off. Yeah. Was it Batwoman or Web Woman? It was a huge superhero Marvel movie. And
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Widow. Was it that one?
I don't know. Maybe it's that. I get a little fuzzy. Took a lot of acid in the 60s.
You want to talk about your acid thing? You were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about? Yeah. Speaking of acid,
Oh, great.
do you still do acid, Lloyd?
I haven't for a
No.
while, but there's a great book. I don't mean to interrupt you. There's a book called LSD by a professor who, it was legal to fuck around with it before 1970. And he was a scientist who did, research, but then it was against the law. But he kept his research going and met God and all this stuff.
Oh,
and he writes,
lucky.
now it's legal again. So he's back in the grants of universities.
he's relevant again.
Well, he's legal again, and this book is really good. It's
Wow.
huge, thick, very entertaining. Sorry.
My introduction to Troma, I mean, as a young, I don't want to say how old I was in case my mom hears this, but very, very young.
You think she'll watch this?
Okay, 13 years old.
My mom won't hear this. Let me tell you.
Was me, my brothers and cousins and I were like, we're gonna drop acid. We're at the video store, and we're like, let's just try to find some weird movie. And I think my brother just picked up this VHS tape, and we all looked at it, and everybody was like, redneck zombies. And we're like, we have to get this one on the name alone.
Oh, it's a classic.
It was just, it's like filmed on a camcorder.
Yeah, not alone. Yeah, it's the first well, maybe other than porn, but it's the first non-celluloidal movie that was actually distributed and proved that if you make something that's compelling with good acting and a good script, you can shoot it on toilet paper. Public's happy to get it.
It was definitely like that. It was like, it was filmed on a camcorder, but it was so fucking great.
Yeah.
And then that's how, not like to shit on the person who saved, the person who felt like committing suicide, and like your movie saved their lives. Your movie saved our lives in another way, because it was like weekend acid time. And it was like we were going to drop acid and watch all the Troma films. That was...
Well, don't be careful now.
That was a good 18 weekends of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We've come a long way. You should subscribe to Troma now, safely and securely.
Do you is it like...
Absolutely
You didn't write Redneck Zombies.
No, I had nothing to do with it other than we took it on. And they were interesting. Actually, Perry Loomis, the director and writer, he ended up working for us. The trade was we'd finish the movie, and in return he had to work for us. And he did special effects on Troma's War, and he plays about 8 parts. And he did special effects for Toxic 2 and 3 too.
It's like
brilliant guy.
When you read something like that, like working with him, I know how to get him to say yes, or how to get him to agree with something, because it's like, if it's weird, he's like, weird, yes, we're gonna do that. And it's like, when you read a script, is that what you think? Like, oh wow, this is let's do this.
It's got to be something that comes from the soul and heart and brain of the filmmaker. And also very inexpensive to make. But most of the ones that have been successful, I don't want to say successful, but that have done better are the ones we've done in-house. Well, Cannibal the musical's great, Redneck Zombies, Blood-Sucking Freaks.
Blood-Sucking Freaks,
There's a great library all on Troma now.
What about
Surf Nazis? Combat Shock?
Surf Nazis Must Die?
We had nothing to do with making that. Combat Shock, we helped
produced it, right, or whatever? Or you
just distributed it. No. Then we were last ride on the train. In those days, 1985, the word Nazi was still a big deal. And we had a guy who was kind of a theatrical distributor guy, and he was going to quit just because of the title Nazi. It was originally called Surf Nazis. But to avoid any confusion, Michael Hers added the Must Die. Man, it's beautifully shot. The cameraman shot, who did the surfing, did Big Wednesday, which is a big-time movie. Surfing.
So when you take other album or other films that are already done, I mean, it is, cause to me it's like a record
Totally.
label or something. Like, oh, this other person's film will just come under the Troma umbrella. What is the criteria for that? Like, who, you know, like
I don't think there is. I think it's just be entertaining and have something to say and create some feelings. You know, be auteur, be an auteur, be in to thine own self be true, and it works out. It takes a while. Toxic Avenger took about 40 years, but they made a $50 million movie that they won't let you see it. It's a movie they won't let you see.
I mean, it will come out. It has to come out eventually.
Well, the hope is they can get something going on the theaters because it's great. And those focus groups were all 90-something percentage. So I don't know.
Yeah.
They put out this movie recently called Long Legs with a lot of noise, and it's just. And the same with Lisa Frankenstein wasn't bad. It's by the daughter of oh crap. What's his name? You know his name. World's greatest dad.
Robin Williams?
Yes, his daughter's Zelda Williams. She's very talented. That's some smart stuff.
What did she do?
What does she do?
Director, right?
She
directed?
she wrote and directed. Yeah,
Ah.
it's pretty good. I don't think it's any, hashtag Shakespeare shitstorm or, toxic. Certainly no Toxic Avenger by Macon Blair.
So you think that Toxic Avenger took 40 years to get popular?
Word of mouth. It's word of mouth. Yes.
I remember as a child when it happened, like when it was like the craziest thing for everybody. Like
Yeah,
it was.
you'd be amazed how many people never heard of the Toxic Avenger. Man.
I know.
Amazing.
I did just recently said, we were talking about having you on the podcast. They're like, Toxic Avenger. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You don't know that movie? Like, I feel like that's just something you have
Or
to
they see this button and they think it's a creature from 20,000 Leagues or something stupid. They don't realize it's my something stupid.
I disown like 3 people
who
for
have
not knowing about the Toxic Avenger.
Even my mom does it. My mom rented it for me.
But
so.
it's really interesting. There's still, it's slowly bubbled up, and power of word of mouth.
Yeah. So part 4 had Noxie, right?
Yes.
Who was a Nazi.
Well, he was in another time zone.
Yeah.
And he was kind of fascist. Yes. He had a.
But that was okay.
He had the
surf
comb
Nazis.
over. He had the comb over.
Yeah. The comb over. Yeah.
That's the best one because it deals with the all sorts of issues. Plastic surgery. Kids in our country at the age of 13 are getting, haven't even formed fully, getting plastic surgery. And also the American custom of dragging black people behind a truck on the cement. We got that in the film where he ends up as just a head named Pompey, who starred with John Wayne and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. That didn't go over too well. And then, but it's there. It's there for the eternity to see.
Yeah.
And then there was, and then abortion is a big deal. And school shootings.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that movie got everything. And
you were ahead of your time. You had school shootings in there before there were school shootings.
We were there when it was not too fashionable to put them in. I don't think it's still fashionable. But, but it should be rubbed in the faces. Where are we now? 24 years later, we're sitting here. Abortion's now illegal all over. Guns are everywhere, including these ghost guns and 3D guns. I mean, really, what's going on?
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So now there's even more stuff to make films about, I guess, more topics that you could really dive into for you.
Well, hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm you'll have fun with. It's based on The Tempest, and it'll premiere on Troma now. It was in, I think it played here in Oxford or something, near Oxford Street. There's a neighborhood. My brother's bakery is there.
In Hillcrest. Oh,
Hillcrest,
it's Landmark Cinema.
Yeah, I think it played there for about a minute. But it's played at maybe 200 theaters and a lot of festivals. And now the fans their thirst will be satiated.
Do you want to give your brother a shout out since you're in San Diego?
Yes, Charles Kaufman, the maker of of
Red and Sea.
Well, no, he not only does he make Red and Sea, but he wrote and directed our best movie, Mother's Day. Yeah, terrific. Probably Troma's best movie. It's satire, it's comedy, it's genuinely scary at times. It's terrific. And it's just come out in a 4K by Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh, Vinegar Syndrome.
Who's great friends, and they love movies, and they do a great job.
Yeah.
And we have no money. I mean, and to us, they're honey.
Okay, so your experiences at Comic-Con every year, right? That's
Yes,
you switched
yeah,
from Cannes to Comic-Con.
They're pretty nice at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Well, also the atmosphere is much more fun.
Yeah. It's changed a
It's
bit.
bigger than Cannes, I think, now, too.
It probably is. We used to bootleg passes to get in, and then I used to sneak in with my Locust uniform, and but now it's like no.
Well, no, you have to scan now.
I know.
I don't know how you bootleg
Yeah.
it.
That ruined
before
the bootlegging, like getting a pass and going to Kiko's and
Yeah,
Xerox. And
yeah.
Once they did that, I was like, oh, I can't go anymore.
Yeah.
We used to do that at Cannes for the getting the parties. We'd have like a fake press.
Oh
pass.
yeah. That's the best.
And we'd pick up the wire of, if there was a crew that was legitimately going in, we'd pick up the cable wires, and they'd often let us do it just to get in the party.
It committed to the part.
I mean, the parties were really
They're like, you're already in.
Yeah, exactly.
So you'll bring the Toxic Avenger with you to the Comic-Con or to
He's
events.
there right now in the
I know.
booth.
I wish he was here, but he has to sell this stuff. I get it.
Well,
but-
he did pick up my water bottle. That was cool. That's called mop power. And
well, the if you want, we could talk a little bit about the Toxic Avenger. I mean, who came up with that whole idea? And I don't know the
Variety, which is the house organ for the big duopoly, that well, actually oligopoly, that had a headline about horror films losing steam and no longer being commercial. And Michael Hers saw it, and then he said, we had run out of steam for our raunchy comedies because we'd made 4 of them, and then the studios started doing the same thing, except spending a lot more money and using good actors and good scripts. So we had to go another way. And Michael saw that headline, so we decided, let's try a horror film. But along the way, it got changed.
what to like more
Well,
comedy
got
than-
changed to comedy and satire and movie that nobody wanted. And then, we couldn't get it into any theater, nothing. They wanted Squeeze Play again.
I really wonder how I mean, I don't know how I discovered it. It was VHS stores were a thing, and I just remember.
Well, this was way before then. This was before VHS.
No.
This was 1983. 84 is when it came out.
84.
VHS didn't really come in till Lightning Video picked it up. So it was after most of the theatrical.
I mean, was it like featured in like Fangoria or something? I don't know how.
No, they do nothing.
Was Fangoria around back then?
I think
They may have been. No, I think they were around that one. Yeah, they never did much.
for whatever
to
reason. I
advertise.
remember when the movie came out, like everyone I knew was like all about it, talked about it.
Well, you ran with the cool kids.
I don't know about that, but I guess weirdos, but like skaters and
Well,
shit.
it ended up at around 2,000 screens, so that didn't hurt. And then HBO, and then after that,
Getting picked up by HBO is a pretty substantial deal.
yes, and there's an amusing incident there too, because they picked up. There's an R-rated version, which is what they wanted, but which is about 40 minutes, and the unrated version is 84 minutes, and we accidentally delivered the wrong version to HBO, and they ran it on over the weekend. And that did a lot for us. And we were like shitting VHS cassettes. And we were really scared that we were going to get sued and HBO and children. But nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. But we did switch the masters.
So that might have helped.
Well, I think that weekend. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then nobody would take it for VHS. Well, we demand advance. But nobody would take it for VHS until this Lightning, which is part of Estron, they were hot company for a while.
So what year did HBO take it? Like, was it right away or did it took a
No,
while?
no, fuck no.
Took a while?
It took a long time.
I guess
Took a
that's probably
while.
when I discovered it.
Yeah,
then.
I don't think the video came out too. I think it's later than you may imagine.
Huh.
Yeah, because for a while, video cassette was Michael Jackson and self-improvement and music video kind of stuff. It wasn't thought of to be, and then Jane Fonda stuff, and then they moved into family stuff, and then Vestron started this when Toxie took off on theater. They started this thing called Lightning Video to take on movies that I guess they could shield themselves in case.
Lightning Video was a distributor or
It was a subsidiary of Vestron
okay.
to take on the more unusual movies.
Mm.
And Toxie was enormous, and then Bloodsucking Freaks. They gave out straws to.
Yeah.
And then, so what do you think? Like maybe a close second would be Class of Nuke 'Em High back then. That was like a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that was a big one,
Yeah.
and we've got the fifth one. There's been 5, and there's only 4 Toxies. There
Yeah.
are 5. They most recently returned to Nuke 'Em High,
Yeah.
and then they return to Nuke 'Em High,
Okay.
and it's a 2-part movie.
Uh-huh. So
And we discovered I can say I discovered Fernando Ale, who was in our special effects department. I don't know if you've seen any of the Return to Nuke 'Em High, but
Yeah.
he made a lifelike dog that was thrown over Niagara Falls.
yeah.
And he made Mutant Blast in Portugal. We produced his script Mutant Blast, and the Portuguese government gave us quite a bit of money, oddly enough. I mean, we put up money too, but I don't see the American government giving us squat. I don't see
No.
Comic-Con giving us squat
Yeah.
after 40-some odd years. God.
It's getting too big for everybody.
Well, again, we're in fact, we can't. The booth is invaluable too because once you give it up, you
The
feelings-
Troma booth when 93, 94, 95, 96, that booth was one that we all looked forward to going to and finding the newest fucking Troma movie. And
thank
it
you.
was, I remember it was just like, that was the first place we had to go. And you
Oh,
always
that's
had,
great.
I've discovered so many of your movies. Cannibal the musical. We were like, what? And I fucking hate musicals, but that one I will watch.
Isn't it great? Yeah,
It is
Great.
really good.
It is.
It's
yeah,
so
great.
witty, and the tunes are memorable.
Yeah.
And,
But that's when the Comic-Con was fun. It was about the VHS tapes and shirts and soundtracks and
Yeah,
posters.
yeah,
And now
yeah.
it's all like,
Hall H or K, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
it's all butts to nuts. And
I mean, this is more of a PR machine for
Mm-hmm.
the majors.
yep.
I was always a big fan of your booth because there would be a bunch of odd people there
Mm-hmm.
that I could relate to. And I was like, cool. Otherwise, I mean, I have no problem with like nerds and stuff, but it was just like I couldn't get into the like anime or whatever. But it was either like we would always go Troma and then go find Glenn Danzig and make fun of him. And then we'd be done. So, yeah. That guy can't take it, joke. But do you know Glenn Danzig?
I think I'm sure I've met
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute.
From the
is he
Misfits.
Chubb? He's not Chud, is he? No,
No,
he's the boss guy.
yeah,
Right,
yeah. Oh, you're talking about Dr. Chud.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
in hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm.
Oh, okay,
Dr.
that
Chubb.
makes sense. Yeah. You does that have Unsane in it too? The band Unsane.
One of our movies
Yeah.
does.
Oh,
yes.
that's probably Tromeo and
Might be
Juliet.
Tromeo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I forgot about
Yeah.
that one too.
Yeah.
That was,
Those are the homies too, so that's cool. Like it's always nice to see that kind of stuff.
Well,
you know?
they're very generous.
Yeah.
Usually we can't pay.
Well, rest in peace. The Motorhead head honcho. You
Yeah,
somehow
Lemmy.
got, I don't. You got him.
Sad.
He was like in a bunch of
Yeah.
yeah,
Stan Lee too. Lost him.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
John Avildsen, my mentor in a way, and good buddy, director of Rocky,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and before that,
And
Joe. which
you
if
worked on that film though, right? On Rocky.
Rocky,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but before that, Cry Uncle, which is another wonderful film by John Avildsen before he made Joe. It's hilarious, absolutely hilarious,
yeah.
and it's on Troma now.
For me, the Troma universe, with all of the people that are involved and all of the people that you've took under your wing or under the umbrella. Like, it's just a brilliant thing,
Well,
and I
thank
think
you.
it's done a good thing for the world, and I appreciate you for doing that. Even if you
I
didn't know.
appreciate you guys for giving Troma a voice and appreciating Troma. And I hope we will get to work together in some way.
Well, we would love to. Well, where's the place in
Music
New
video.
York
We
you
should
have to
make
go
a
to?
music video.
Yeah, we have to go to New York to be in your next film.
Yeah.
Well, it's New York State. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it. Just
But come
write
and
us in.
stay with us.
Yeah, write us in.
Oh no, we don't live in Port Jervis.
We're fine. We'll live in the van.
But if you're in
wherever.
Manhattan, where you got the commissioner and I have guest rooms because the kids are gone. So
The commissioner.
she's commissioner.
Uh-huh. Okay,
She's
yeah,
New
yeah.
York City commissioner of all media, games, dancing,
Oh.
music, movies, theater.
All right.
And she was 20 years commissioner of New York State and created the incentive by which New York attracted all this business. And now every other countries and state are doing that.
Huh.
Yeah, that's my wife. 50
Yeah.
years, too.
That's cool.
Commissioner Kaufman. I
She's
got
put
a
up
nice,
with this shit for a
nice
long time.
ring to it. Oh, she's great. She's had 50 years of marriage.
Yeah. Huh. Well, yeah, we can wrap it and get you back to the con.
Yeah, I probably should get back because my wife might be in the booth. And
Yeah. So
You know what that
one more
means.
time, the Troma TV show or TV
oh,
channel.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Streaming?
Thanks,
Streaming.
Justin. Troma Now.
Troma Now.
Troma Now. There's an app, Troma Now app.
Okay.
It's free.
Yeah.
The first month is free, and then $4.99. And Troma's, the last of the last. So
Yeah.
doesn't hurt to support us.
There might be. I mean, like, I don't know. John Waters is kind of in.
Well, he's
yeah,
way
yeah.
above our pay grade. He's a part of the mainstream. He's a national major treasure.
But I feel like you and him are in the same world of awesome stuff. Very similar.
Well, he made it out. He had talent. Come on.
He said you have to intern for yourself for 40 years and then you'll make it.
That's 50 years in my case.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So
I mean, all right. So thank you so much.
thank you. You want some of your cake? There you have it. That was episode 45 of the Cult and Culture podcast. Thank you all for listening, maybe participating. At least if you get a chance, like, subscribe, hype, share, do whatever. Tell your friends, your dog, your
Parents,
grandmother,
grandma.
whoever. Yeah. We want to say thanks to everybody. We would like to thank Andy and Becky for all the ongoing help that they give us. Ruinous Media for having us be part of their podcast label. It seems like a record label, but it's a podcast conglomerate. So thanks to Ruinous. Again, thanks to Rodrigo at Two Legs Bad. You should check out Two Legs Bad on Instagram to see a lot of the stuff that they're doing. It's awesome.
Yep. Really good videographer too. So
Did he film Sonido?
Yeah, he
Okay.
came.
He came and filmed Sonido de la Frontera, so that's gonna come out soon, hopefully. Anyhow, this whole podcast is fully loaded with a lot of friends and rad people, and it's awesome. It feels good to be able to be part of something like that. So
it's fun.
yeah, thank you, everyone. We hope to see you on the next episode, and good luck in life.
Yep. Later.
Cult and Culture is a Ruinous Media podcast proudly sponsored by Earthquaker Devices, Heartwork Coffee, Diodario, Kindred, Smashed Plastic Record Pressing, and San Diego Food Shed.
Planet B.